The first name we had for it, I think, was Shock, just called Shock, because we didn't have the IP. And then we did this prototype of it and of this game, Shock, which had a pretty different plot because obviously SHODAN wasn't involved. When we showed the prototype, we had 4 of us essentially making everything for this very, very rough prototype, which we did for about, I don't know, like, a few tens of thousands of dollars in a very short period of time in the fall of 1997, I think. I believe that, so we did the deal with the EA, and because the EA may had at least the reciprocal rights we needed to do to make it System Shock, it became a System Shock game, and we were thrilled because I think System Shock 1 was probably, along with Ultimate Underworld, were the games that really drove me into the industry, where I was so inspired by, and the kind of games, it showed me the kind of games that I thought I wanted to make, and I thought I could add something to. So we were thrilled when it became a System Shock game, like absolutely thrilled. We had this sort of theory that if we can make people believe in the space that you're in, they would believe in the story more. And so we try to really make it fairly, as much as a very low polygon science fiction thing can look like a believable environment, we tried to make it as much of a believable environment we could, even with the very incredibly crude tools we had available to us at the time. That's not to say that the engine itself, relative to other things at the time, was crude, because it had incredible, the Dark Engine had incredible facilities that a lot of other engines didn't, which we leveraged. But it was, 1997, 1998, 1999, and there's the rendering capacities of machines was not very good. But I think they understood that we weren't out to just tell everybody it's bad. We were trying to say, this is about human nature. And all of our games are really a study, all of our, what I call our shocky games, System Shock, Bioshock, Infinite, and Judas, are all really about human nature, but putting it in a much more fantastical palette, which I always love. That's what I always love about fantasy and science fiction. It allows you, it's a great metaphor to tell stories. Like, obviously my connection to System Shock 2 is very different than somebody who played it. But also, even if my connection to System Shock 1, which I didn't work on, is different than everybody else who played it too, because there was a moment in my life, there was a feeling of excitement that I had no idea at the time was sort of nudging me in a certain direction in my life, right? This was 1990, whatever, a couple years before I got in the games industry, and I had no idea I was going to be in the games industry, so I didn't even know how important it was at the time. I knew it was special, but I didn't know why it was special. But of course, then my relation to that game is totally different than somebody whose life wasn't so massively impacted by it. So I love that. It exists in a conversation with the audience. They're not even really, and in games, they're not even really the audience. They're the co-participant, and that is amazing. And we're still, oh my God, even though I've been doing this for 30 years, I feel we're still in the beginning of something. I don't really know what the final forms game is. Like, we're still in the pre-talkie eras, if you think about movies, compared to movies. I love and appreciate all kinds of games, but I've really been a single-player game, mostly because I like to just lock myself away and go somewhere and be that person who matters the most in the world. Or the most hated person in the world sometimes, and in some games. What games do, and when they're at their best, is they really let you just step out of yourself and just live in somebody else's shoes for a while. And that's just something only games can do. It's such a beautiful thing, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get closer to that.